All right, in tonight's Biz Blitz, forget Ebola. It's all about earnings. Because if IBM is any indication, this financial hit just could go viral. Think about that. All of this market's underpinnings have been based on, well, positively, the world may look jostled, but earnings have kept us all afloat. What if that suddenly reverses course? To our Fox Biz All-Stars. Then what, Lizzie?
Yeah, it is a concern. I mean, certainly we've been talking about...
I think it's more than a concern. I'm leading this segment.
You're leading this segment. Okay, I'll play along. It adds to the skittishness. I don't think it's a black swan event. I don't. I think it's a black swan event. You know, but IBM...
So big blue, not a black swan.
Big blue, not a black swan. I mean, IBM, though, they haven't had a revenue increase in 2.5 years. The stock hasn't budged in 3 years. But with the corporate earnings season unfolding before us, we are moving into the holiday shopping season. Certainly you don't want Ebola out there scaring shoppers away.
All right, but this did scare the market at the open right away, and things sort of dissipated, but not a lot. I mean, so the fear is that IBM is just presaging something, isn't it?
You know, a lot of people look at IBM as a bellwether. There are businesses buying stuff. If they're not buying stuff, that's not good for global growth. So IBM basically saying, no, people aren't buying stuff. But IBM also a little bit behind the 8 ball on cloud computing, on data processing and things like that. Not to mention, they tripled their debt to repurchase stock. So they've made some mistakes along the way. Lizzie and I were talking about whether or not, you know, heads roll on upper management because of this. And maybe there should be some...
You actually have a fair conversation about IBM.
We're geeky.
We're dorks.
We're
total
geeks.
Hadley?
No, I know IBM can be a bellwether, but I don't think in this case we should overreact or read too much into the earnings report for the rest of the market. I don't think IBM's experience is going to be representative of the rest of the market. At this point, as Liz said, they've had a revenue decline over the past few years, and it's not something that, you know, I'm going to project onto the rest of the market. Not just yet. We did have a wild week last week, but I don't think IBM is showing us the way.
All right, remind me not to invite any of you back again on stories that I deem important. All right, now, this is the second issue for you. Apple Pay, that's what it's called. It's off and running. And Tracy, if you're one of the millions with an iPhone 6 or iPhone 6 Plus, so potentially is all the out-of-control spending, right? Because it makes it almost too easy to tap and
Oh,
pay.
my God, I'll swipe my life away. God forbid the kids are on, then I'm really toast. As it is, PayPal has made it so much easier for us to buy things now. Right now, this just takes it a whole nother level. It could be very dangerous, Neil.
What do you think?
You know what? People were worried. Is it secure? Is your money safe? And it turns out, watch this, what Apple Pay is doing. They're going to scramble. You know, you have to give your 3 or 4-digit security code on the back of your credit card to the cashier. Apple is doing away with that. It will scramble for you every transaction. It will give you a new encrypted code.
So that's good.
So all the more we're going to shop.
It'll make it safer to shop.
Adley, good or bad thing?
It might make it safer, it might make it easier, but in terms of not thinking about how much we're spending, I mean, consumers are already so far beyond that. I think the leap from cash to plastic using a credit card is so simple that consumers are already spending without thinking, and you can see it in the bankruptcy courts, you can see it in the way Americans aren't saving enough.
Well, if you make it too easy, that's your point.
Adding this layer of convenience.
To Walt Disney World, right, where they have the bracelets, you just tap.
I love that.
Well,
yeah,
but you spend more as a result.
Yes, absolutely. But at the same time, there's so many people worried about their credit cards being hacked that maybe this actually is coming at a good time. I mean, Apple could. I know people are kind of beating this up right now, but
how does it work, though? Is it tied? Your phone is tied to.
There's a chip in your device, in your iPhone 6, that has your credit card information in it and beams it to the cashier. Now, we don't know how secure the retailer is. That's an issue.
That's true.
But the fact that it scrambles the security code is really interesting. And I think you're right. I think consumers are going to find it easier to spend money, as you point out in Disney World with those bracelets as well.
30 million of these iPhone users now, Hadley, right? In a world of, what, 500 million of these type of phones?
That's right. And, you know, to the point of convenience, it adds that extra layer, but people will still have to carry purses and wallets around if you have to carry your ID when you're driving around.
Very true.
I imagine it adds the layer of convenience for buying things, but I don't know that it totally eliminates the need for a wallet.
All right. That'll do it here. All right. Now, shirking my duties while I was out for Dancing with the Stars will perish the thought.